Hello internet, it's Cilian here with another video for you guys. We're not doing an intro because the people who haven't done those yet don't really know what they're going to do, so instead I have a story time for you. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the time that my art was stolen in high school. I know as soon as I put high school in there, no one really cares that much because it's just high school and it's no big deal, but this was actually something that happened to me that affected me quite a lot because it was a massive betrayal of trust in a time where I was very vulnerable and all of my friends were basically taking turns to stab me in the back. I'll be telling this story over the top of me painting some black canvas shoes. They're just cheap, they were about $4 from Kmart, black canvas shoes, and we decided to go with a nautical and space theme because that's something that we really like and we thought it would fit best on the black shoes. So I'll get into the story. Quick bit of background, I was in year 12, I had just gone through a massive friendship break because of some stuff that had happened that if you guys really want to know about, I can talk about in a different video, but all you need to know is I started sitting with a different friend. We will call them Julia. We will call this friend Julia. So Julia and I would sit in the art room because even though I didn't do art, she did, so we were allowed to use that space during lunch and recess if we were working on art pieces. Because I didn't do art, I didn't have any canvases to be working on, so she gave me a canvas that she was finished with. She told me straight out that I could have it, she wasn't using it for anything, it was a recycled canvas anyway, and I was free to do with it what I wished. So of course, I was under the influence that it was now my canvas and I was allowed to be doing with it whatever I wanted. So of course, I started working on it because what else are you going to do when you've just gone from having a lot of friends to sitting basically alone in an art room? The background of the canvas was already pink, but I decided to give it more texture by going through with a white brush and sponge and changing the background hues just so that it looked like it kind of had some movement. It had also had pieces of paper stuck all over it, and where the glue had been applied, we couldn't get the paper off, so I decided to go through with watercolor in a blue and a very, very dark purple and paint individually every single piece of this stuck on paper. I really liked the look it had. It was coming together really nicely. I'd been working on it for a while. I did some preliminary sketches over the top to see where I was going to put my main subjects, which were going to be two people, a girl and a boy, and it was going to be a piece that was really talking about my trans identity and how I felt, and it'd be a visual representation of my struggles. The issue started when in the middle of the year we both had projects due for our different courses. She had stuff coming up in her art classes, I had stuff coming up within my photography classes. So I stopped working on my canvas for a while because I needed to focus on the projects which I was actually getting marked. She told me she was busy working with all of her stuff, so we didn't see each other for the next couple of weeks. I finished my project and I know that she's still got about 2 months left to do hers, so I go into the art room alone to try and continue work on my piece, but it's nowhere to be found. I searched everywhere for my canvas and I could not find it. I was starting to worry that someone had found it and thought it wasn't being used anymore and had painted over it, but this wasn't quite the case. I was really lucky that one of the people within Julia's art class was also a really good friend of mine from drama. I had worked on my canvas around her before because she was quite often in the art room working on her own piece, because the art kids had a massive piece due at the end of semester 2. One day in drama, my friend comes up and says, "Julia's been working on your canvas, have you given her permission?" I was a bit taken back by this. I was like, no, I didn't give any permission. What do you mean she's working on it? So my drama friend explains she was talking to the teacher and she was explaining her idea and she was taking credit for all of your ideas and all your work you've done so far. I was a bit confused and taken back by this, so I asked if this friend from drama could keep an eye on it and just keep me up to date with what was happening in class. That lunch, I tried to talk to Julia and ask what was going on, but she was kind of avoiding me. I let this slide for a week or so until I saw my canvas. I had math at the same time that Julia had art, and in one particular math lesson I was supposed to go and drop calculators off to a different room. and I decided to go through the art room because it's the quickest way to get through. And I see Julia hunched over my piece with a massive black paintbrush painting over all of my preliminary sketches. Of course, this was a bit upsetting, like I'd just put a lot of effort into this canvas and all of a sudden she was just painting all over it. So I went up to her and I was like, hey, what are you doing? Like, that's not what I was gonna do. Like, this is my piece, isn't it? And she got really defensive and went, no, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not taking any credit for it. It's not my piece, it's your piece. I'm just doing it for now so that I have something to be doing because the teacher is getting up my ass. I found this to be a little bit weird, a little bit not quite right, because if the teacher was getting up your ass, you should be doing your own work. And why wasn't she doing her own work anyway? She had a major project due in about a month at this stage. I ended up leaving it at that and went home and thought about it for a while and then messaged her saying, hey, I'm not comfortable with what you're doing. I've been told by other people in your class that you're claiming my ideas as your own, and I really want you to stop working on my canvas. Julia promised me 3 things at this stage. 1, that she would stop working. 2, that she would never claim the ideas as her own. And 3, that she wasn't going to get it marked or present it. Over the course of this story, she did break all 3 of those promises. She broke the first promise by adding 3 massive slashes down the middle of the canvas. I'm not talking about small, precise slices. She put 3 massive claw marks through this canvas, destroying it for anyone who would have wanted to use it after her, because at our school we would recycle canvases quite often, and completely destroying any hope I had of trying to redo my idea. The second she broke when she had to try and present it to her class as her own, and she explained all of the ideas that I had for the canvas and all of the meaning I had behind it to her teacher. She literally went up and explained to her teacher that this was her work, it was her original ideas, this was the symbolic meaning behind it, this was why she did this, and this is how she achieved the technique. Now, if she wasn't as unlucky as she was with the dates of which they were presenting these works, I never would have known. Because we both did different courses, I had school at different times to her sometimes due to different exam periods. In one of these breaks that I had and she didn't, she had to present. So she was under the influence that I was not going to be at school, I wouldn't see it, and everything would be fine. Unfortunately for her, I had a meeting with some of the staff members and I did in fact have to go to school. And I saw my canvas on display with her name on it, with everybody else's pieces. At this stage, I was pissed. I went straight to the teacher and told her, this is not Julia's work, this was not Julia's ideas, this was originally her canvas, but I've completely redone it. All of this is my work. All she did was put holes in it and traced over my lines. And this teacher tried so hard to find a loophole that this wasn't stealing. She tried saying that it was a cooperative piece, she tried saying that it was my ideas but Julia's work. I was letting none of it slide. This was my work, this was theft, this was not allowed, she shouldn't hand it in. What was even better than this friend going behind my back and stealing my work was the fact that after I had confronted the teacher, she got her boyfriend to spam me with messages saying that I was a horrible person for stealing Julia's canvas, for stealing her art, and for taking credit for it all. I was livid. Not only did I have my art stolen, I now had someone texting me during class saying that I was a horrible person and blaming me for all of the rumors and nasty stuff that was going around school about an art theft, which they were true. Someone did steal art. They stole a concept, they stole the actual art, they stole a canvas. There was nothing original about her work that she said was hers, and all of a sudden that was my fault. My fault for playing the victim, and of course I got hella pissed at this. I did end up making it up with Julia and we're friends again, but it's very on-off because she does tend to make mistakes like this. but I can be a very forgiving person, and I don't know, it does lead to me getting taken advantage of quite a lot because I'm quite happy to forgive stuff that I probably shouldn't ever forgive, like this incident. So that's a story of a time that I had my art stolen and thought that it wouldn't have happened because it was a person really close to me, and it was such a bad decision to make. Like, if she'd been caught and if the teacher had actually told her off properly, it would have gone so badly for her, but I guess she got away with it in the end. I hope you guys really enjoyed this type of video. If you guys like them, hit that like button, hit subscribe, comment and tell us if you really enjoyed this, and I will tell you more tea from my time at high school. This has been Cilian, and I will see you guys later.